What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another stream. Can you all let me know if this is working fine? How's my camera there? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if it's all coming through loud and clear. I have a new stream setup, which again, you'll know from my videos, with a green screen, with mic, everything. I've completely changed the way my desk is set up, and hopefully, but I have to like peer around the corner to actually see what it looks like. Let me know if it's coming through loud and clear. Again, green screen, some new stuff going on. Again, going to be improving it over the next couple of weeks. We've also got a PC on the way as well, and for some of you who have watched my streams for a long time, you'll know how much I hate the fan noise on my laptop. My laptop is now currently on the floor underneath my desk because I'm doing my best to try and make it as quiet as possible. And when I record videos now, it's basically as far away from my desk as the lead will allow me to do. But basically that is coming by the start of the season. It's because of it's being like built. I asked for like a bit more spec on it so that it's more powerful, so it doesn't have a big fan noise. But yeah, if you could just let me know everything is going. Say hello in the chat as well. It is so nice to be back. We're going to do an hour of basically chatting about my team. Sorry, let me scroll so you can actually, would be useful to put up a page which is actually a little bit more useful for you all. Let me zoom in as well. And I've also got a keyboard, like an actual keyboard, and normally I just use my laptop one. So it is a bit of a change for me, so bear with me. If you guys could also drop a like on the stream as well as we get started. First one back. Again, it is so good to be back. It is so nice to be back streaming. If you're only hearing fan noises, you're own, fine. It's so nice to be back, so nice to be streaming. We are like 10 days away from the start of the season now. I can't wait. The next couple of weeks are going to be pretty crazy. For anyone who's seen my tweets, we've got daily uploads as well. So I've got tomorrow morning scheduled, and then we've got a special video coming through on Tuesday. You might have seen a little preview of that over on Twitter as well. So yeah, and then we've got daily uploads. We've got a stream next weekend as well. We'll have another stream before the season starts. There's plenty to come while I'm also doing my 9-to-5 job as well. So some of you saying everything's coming through loud and clear. It looks fine. I'll watch it back afterwards and let me know. But yeah, if you guys could just like the stream to start. If you are new and you haven't watched my streams before, say hello in the chat. I'd love to see any of the new subscribers. Gained quite a few over the past couple of weeks as well. So if you are new to the channel and haven't watched me stream before, again, say hello and I'll happily give a few of you a shout out. But let's go through a few of you guys in the chat who are in here already. We've got Jam, Scott, FPL River, Jane, Joshua, Never, George, Craig, Hoxton, Quazza, Mark, IM, Matthew. We've got Name, we've got Dr. Payne, Forever QPR, we've got Sumik, Fella, how we doing? Lord, Silk, Jack, Steve, Joshua. Again, some familiar names and also some names that are completely new to me. So yeah, if I go too high up, it chops the top of my head off. So I better be conscious of that. But yeah, we've got a green screen. But anyway, my current draft is up on screen for you all. Again, the only slight issue is I can't actually see the bottom of my screen, but I can work with that. I also need to set up the little thing which gives me a notification when you guys subscribe as well, but I will do that ahead of next one. I was just trying to make sure that everything is working as best I can. If you aren't in the league code already, again, I'm waffling a lot. We'll get into the stuff in just a minute. If you aren't in the league code above me, again, there are prizes for you all. Go and check it out. Go and join it. Free to enter, completely free to enter. There are some prizes for you guys in as well. So, new subscriber after watching Andy's video, again, thank you, appreciate it. Again, Andy was very generous and let me have a chance on his channel. It was very fun to record with him. I think we had a good chat about my team. I have changed it a little bit since I went on there, so we'll talk through that, but this is my team. Start getting your questions in the chat as well, and I'll start answering some of them. When I don't talk, my microphone level seems pretty low, so that hopefully means the fan is not coming through too much. Anyway, Foden, Grealish or Mahrez. For me at the moment, I'd go Foden. He was the one who was in my draft most recently. I'm just a little bit unsure about exactly who's going to start on the wings, and we need to pay attention to the Community Shield game next weekend, because when they play against Liverpool, again, just checking that like everything is looking fine. When they play that against Liverpool next weekend, if like Grealish, Mahrez start, I don't think we want to be going with Foden. I think that will be a good indicator of who's necessarily first choice. But the only thing with that is that Pep rotates the team depending on who he's playing against, and they've got Liverpool there, and then they play West Ham and Bournemouth in the first two. It doesn't necessarily mean he could pick like Foden because he wants a player that's going to press really well. But then when it comes to the season, he's going to, pick the likes of Grealish and Mahrez because they keep the ball better, etc., etc. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I did have a space for Manchester City midfielder in my team, and I don't have it in this draft. I've got basically 2 drafts that I'm working with, and one of them I like a lot. One of them is the other one I had Foden in. This one doesn't have it in, and I've gone with Martinelli instead. But yeah, I've got a few different things going on. If I had to pick between one of them, I'd probably go Foden at the moment. Mahrez or Cancelo. Again, Cancelo for me is the number 1 Manchester City asset to own. I wouldn't be looking elsewhere. Like, he's the first one on that team sheet. I made a couple of drafts early on in the season where I had Diaz or Laporte, and I actually need to turn my light on. There we go. We had a first couple of drafts which had Diaz or Laporte in, and then as sort of time went on, we moved away and I went back to Cancelo because both Diaz and Laporte are a little bit sort of not rotation prone, a little bit injured at the moment. They haven't been playing the past couple of preseason games, and yeah, that's a bit of a worry. And then Cancelo plays every game. Him getting the number 7 as well makes me think he might be playing a little bit more advanced as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on, but basically I think for me, Cancelo is the first Manchester City player on my team sheet, even before Haaland as well. So yeah, he's definitely the one that I'd be going with. Replace Haaland and Diaz with Mahrez and Kane. Best YouTuber, appreciate it. Kane versus Haaland is a close one. Trying to pick between them at the moment. Now, Mahrez has come out and said he wants to be on penalties still. How often is Mahrez going to start versus if Haaland is on the pitch and Mahrez isn't, is Haaland still on penalties? I'm not going to try and read in too much to it, to be honest. I think Haaland is still in there at the moment. So I got to try and pick between them. At the moment, Haaland is in there because their fixtures are nicer than Spurs. Spurs play Chelsea in game week 2, so I don't really want that. So do I release my team? Yeah. So every week we will have a transfer plans video, like a hot topic video, and a team selection video, and a deadline stream as well. So if you are like wanting to know and follow on what I do with my team, then all that information will be there. Do I know any good free FPL newsletters I want to read? Yeah, there's this really good one. I don't know how I find the link. I got it saved somewhere. There's one here, which is a free like FPL newsletter, which I subscribe to, and you guys can subscribe to as well, completely free. It just sends an email every so often with some useful information in. But there's that there. Anyway. Cool. So thoughts on Salah versus no Salah. So I like the thought of, well, I looked at a couple of teams that have no Salah in, and I like what you can do with your squad. You have, triple Liverpool with Trent, Diaz, Robbo, and then you have Son instead of Salah. And I do like what you can do, except it has no Salah in it, right? And I can't see myself going into the start of the season without him. A couple of years ago, I did it, and it absolutely burnt me. So I definitely don't want to do that again. So I can't see myself going into the start of the season with Salah not in my team. So yeah, as much as I'd want to, as much as I like what the team looks like, if you don't have him in, then yeah, I can't see myself doing it basically. Chelsea struggling as a team in pre-season at the moment. Yeah, and Tuchel came out and said like he wasn't impressed with the performance against Arsenal. He came out and said that we struggled for goals last season and we're struggling again because we got the same players. So yeah, there's a few little bits going on there that Tuchel needs to keep an eye on. I still think Sterling will help boost that a bit. Let me move my light a little bit. Bear with me. It's going really well. It's probably great for your audio as well. Honestly, what is going on? This is going horribly. There we go. Sorry, the lighting was bugging me. Apologies if that was dreadful on the audio. Robbo or Diaz, it really depends on the squad structure, and I got a video tomorrow which I talk a little bit about this in, where if you've got a defender slot, then I think Robbo does it. But if Robbo's going to make you play a 5 at the back for game week 1, then I think it's Diaz, and that's why I've got Diaz in this draft at the moment. The reason is going 4 at the back game week 1 allows you that 4.5 defender on the bench, which really helps with squad structure. Whereas if you have a 5 at the back and you're having to plug your bench with like 4.5 mids, it's not quite as good. So I like the squad structure of being able to play a back 4 most weeks, or rotating it, which is what this squad does. So Walker, like in theory, could come in, like I could bench Neto, Martinelli, or Walker or Dalot, depending on the fixture. And that's what I really like about this team. Yes, Walker might not start the season. I know a few of you are putting it in the chat as well, is that we might not get Walker starting the season as the number 1. Cucurella might join, and that's fine. Like, I can move him. I've got Trippier. It could be Zinchenko that comes in. There are quite a few options that I've got, but I quite like the squad structure. Now, I am benching a decent player every game week is the only thing. Like, if it's Dalot, Martinelli, Neto, that's okay, to be fair. Like, Dalot's opening few fixtures, if we look at them. So we got Brighton, Brentford. Like, I'd probably want to bench him in game week 3 and game week 5. And then the only issue there is I think Wolves play... game week 3, Wolves play Tottenham away, which is fine. Like, I could play Neto in that fixture. Game week 3, Arsenal play... No, game week 3 is okay. So, like, game week 3, I could have a couple of them in there. Like, I could bench Dalot and bring in Walker, because Walker plays, like... game week 3, like Newcastle away, and I'd have double. Like, that's fine. It helps me rotate quite well. Hi, Nuclear. How are we doing? By the way, looking slick with the green screen. Thank you. Again, I need to, like, make sure I don't do this because it chops the top of my head off. But I need to watch these sort of things back once I've done it once to check it out. But glad you guys are enjoying. Rashford or St. Maximin? Rashford. If you've only got 6.5... I probably wouldn't go either. Like, Martinelli and Neto, for me, are better options. If I had to pick one between the two, I'd go Rashford. Like, as much as I love St. Maximin as a footballer, I don't think he's a good FPL asset. So, I probably would still go Neto and Martinelli over him. Like, I've got both in my team at the moment. But I probably, if I had to pick between one, I'd go Rashford out of the two. There's no clean sheets in the first few weeks. Have you looked up big at the top, then wildcard later? It's true. But, like, these guys are more capable of getting attacking returns. And if defenders get attacking returns, they're great for bonus points as well. So I don't necessarily think that I need to be looking at just going, big at the top, because they're like the 7 million in Cancelo is better than any 7 million or 6.5, 7 million midfielder. Like, I could go to Harvey Barnes, for example, who I have looked at. I quite like him as an option. I don't think they're getting enough look, Leicester, at the moment. Their opening fixtures are okay. But again, they're such good value generally and they all have such good opening fixtures that I can't sell Reece James at 6 million and go to a Chelsea midfielder. Like, I need to free up 2 million to do that. Whereas James, for these opening fixtures, yes, they might not keep loads of clean sheets, but surely he's going to get something, and everyone's got them as well. So I'm quite happy with the sort of big at the back squad structure. But if you guys could just like the stream as well. There are 250 in here already when we are still 10 days away from the season. So thank you. Also, a massive thank you to anyone in here who has subscribed. We've hit 20,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Crazy. I never thought I'd get there. I remember hitting like 1,000 and then 5 and then 10. And now to hit 20 during preseason as well. Thank you all so much. If there's anyone not here about who hasn't subscribed already, we do weekly videos, weekly live streams as well. So yeah, if you could make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to get to 25,000 by the start of the season. It's a bit of a push, but we will see what we could do. And if you haven't liked the video, like the stream as well, if you could do that as well, and then we'll crack on with some questions. Am I worried because I have a YouTube channel and not having Salah and dropping rags might affect views? If it works, you might get number one, no Salah. I don't really pay attention. I don't really pick my team based off what I think's going to get most views or what's etc. etc. I pick the team that I think is going to score the most points and is going to get me the best overall rank at the end of the season. Above me again, you can see the past 2 years finished the top 4K. That's what I aim for when I start my season. I don't think I need to go maverick and not pick this player, because if it pays off, then I'll do really well and I'll get more views. I just pay the game that I want to play, and then YouTube, I publicize what I do and my thoughts, etc. like that. But I don't do it and pick my team based on what I think and what I think is most important for views. You were here when I had 500 subs. Thank you. With that PC making noises like it's going to blow up. So actually, Nuclear, I still have the same one, and it's now on the floor. I just moved it further and further away. Was that my missus in the teaser? She's a northerner. She's from, well, it depends where you draw the northern line. She's from Nottingham. She claims she's not northern. So would I. Midlands. Why no Robbo anymore? So, yeah, I moved from Robertson to Diaz over the weekend because it allowed me to play 4 at the back. And I think 4 at the back is slightly better for the start of the season because it allows your bench to be a little bit stronger because those 4.5 or 5 million like defenders are really good value. Whereas if you've got a midfielder, 5 million or 5.5, apart from Neto, you're not really wanting these guys in your squad. There aren't very many picks to go for. So yeah, that's why I moved. I like the squad structure. I think the Diaz versus Robertson is very close. And actually, there's only 0.5 million difference in their price. Now, you're probably thinking, Harry, there's a million difference in their price. But the difference is Diaz is 4.5 million up to 8 is a 3.5 million gap. And then Robertson is only 4 million up to 7 is only a 3 million gap. So in theory, there's actually only a 0.5 gap. So it really just depends on the squad structure and where you've got a gap in your team. For me, I had a gap and I wanted a midfielder, which is why Diaz is in there at the moment. If I find another midfielder that I want instead of Diaz, then Robertson may go back in. It literally just depends on what I want. And Jota being injured was a big thing on that as well. So if Jota's injured, I like Diaz quite a lot as an option because I think he's much more nailed when Jota's not there. There's a bit more rotation when Jota's fit. Again, I need to keep an eye on that. We haven't heard anything past couple of days on Jota, but it's worth looking at. 2 premium players to rotate or 1 premium player and perma captain. 2 premiums for me always. You might end up captaining Salah every week, which I probably will, but I still like the ability to have 2 premiums. If Salah gets injured or Salah's not on the form I want and they go into some difficult fixture, then I have that other option. And I don't trust not captaining premiums. It's just the way I play the game. Can I give insight between Neto and Bailey? Yeah, so a lot of you looking at cheap midfielders. Neto, Bailey are probably the 2 under 6 million. You've also got Martinelli in there as well, which I can discuss. And Martinelli's great. Smith Rowe looks like he's not necessarily going to be fit for the start of the season. He's not going to play 90 minutes every week, and we know that. But if he starts, they have such a great run of fixtures. So if we get it up, they play Palace away, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Villa in their first 5. United, Everton, Brentford. Like Arsenal are more than capable of scoring goals in all of those first 8 fixtures that we've got here. So I'm not put off by that. And if he plays 60 minutes in each of these, I think at 6 million, he's great. Neto's more likely to play 70, 80 minutes in every game. The fixtures are pretty good as well. Like Tottenham in a way in there is not great, but 1 difficult game in their opening 6 is fine. And you can always bench him. I don't know who you've got on your bench. Like something you actually look at is Pereira, like game week 3, when Neto has that difficult fixture, he has Brentford at home. So for example, like I could do that, but I really like Neto. I think he's pretty nailed to play 70, 80 minutes pretty much every game. Once they find a team they like, they don't have Europe, they're pretty much going to play the same team. Neto is so good when he's fit. I'm pretty happy with him. He's on set pieces as well. Bailey is the interesting one. He's probably more explosive than Neto, but he's less nailed, and he'll probably play between 30 and 60 minutes every game, whereas Neto will play more minutes, but in a team that's probably going to score less goals. For me, start of the season, like I'm going Neto over Bailey. Bailey for me is the perfect player to have first sub. I wouldn't necessarily want to be playing him every week though. Like first sub, I'm more than happy to get him, but then long term, I'd want Neto over him. The fixtures as well for Bailey are good for the first 3, but after that, they're not as great. So if we go to and have a look, I've got Archer in my team. I can use that. Like if we look at their fixtures, like they're great for the first 3, but then you don't want Bailey until game week 8. And the majority of us, like you might not have thought about it, majority of us will have wildcarded by latest like game week 9. So you can go and get Bailey for this run if we think he's playing. But to start the season, I'm quite happy with Neto. There are 290 of you in here and only 79 likes. If you guys could hit that like button, let's try and get it up to 100. If you could get it up to 100, that would be great. yeah, and I'm also going to rate a few of your teams in this as well. So do stick around if you want to have a chance to get your team rated during this stream as well. Yeah, but I appreciate the 100 likes. Let me just put the post up. If you guys want to get your team rated, if you don't follow me over on Twitter as well, there is a link in the description. There's also a link in the description to join as a channel member. There are 2 tiers. Tier 1 gets you all the YouTube perks, and then Tier 2 also gets you added into the Twitter group chat where all the other members are, where I am to answer your questions. If you guys want to join or get your team rated, drop them in the sort of comment section of this tweet, and we can do some of them during this stream. Jesus is a better pick if you have to choose between him and Martinelli. Yeah, if I could only own one Arsenal player, like, it's Jesus, like, all day long. There's no doubt for me of Jesus is in there. Like, I think Nketiah will get minutes, but it's not going to be enough to be hurt off how good Jesus has the ability to be. Jesus scores goals when he's given consistent start in a team, and it's the same with Sterling. He's not scored as many for Manchester City because he hasn't got his rhythm. He hasn't got that sort of fluid motion about him. Periods of last year when he played consistently on that right wing, we saw the goals that he was capable of scoring. So again, I want to wait and see on Martinelli, Saka, but like Jesus is going to be in my game week 1 team. I have I've got no chance of moving off Jesus. Yeah, the old style of hashtag we've moved off because people didn't want to do that. They want to just reply to something. But yeah, thank you all for joining in. Nice to see so many familiar faces. And again, new people, welcome back. We having a bit more of a casual stream. Sort of the other streams between now and the end of the season will be very focused on helping you guys with your teams, but hopefully the videos do that as well. Am I confident on Martinelli being nailed? While Smith Rowe's out, yes. When he's back, still probably first choice, but he's probably still going to play like that, get that 60th minute sub quite often, which is a bit of a worry for me. And I will bear that in mind if we get any news on Smith Rowe. Like, Martinelli is a player I'd love to have if I knew he was nailed. But if he's not going to be nailed, then I might change my mind a little bit. So yeah, guys, if you do want your teams rated, we'll do that at the end of the stream. A few of you commenting it in there as well. Thoughts on Martinelli or Coutinho? Martinelli for me. I don't love the Coutinho pick. He was very highly owned at first off because I think people saw like 7 million. It's not a bad price for him, but I'm staying clear of Aston Villa to start the season. Going forward, it's great. I don't quite know who's going to play every week. There's a little bit of risk of rotation going forward. And defensively, good. But again, a few new signings coming in. You worry about how they're going to gel. And there are other players at a similar price, which I'm a bit more confident about what we're going to get. I also hate booking in transfers. So, again, when we look at the Villa fixtures, like, they're great. And then come game week 4 or 5, you'll definitely be wanting to sell them. So, yeah. I don't love that. But anyway. Kulusevski or Douglas Luiz. So there's that big debate at the moment about those £8 million midfielders. And we're looking at Kulusevski, Mount, Diaz, Foden, Mahrez in there as well, Maddison as well. But no one's really looking at Mahrez or Maddison. The others, Diaz for me is probably top, but you could go like Robertson, which still leaves you that 8 million spot. Kulusevski, I'm really torn by. I would love him in my team. He was so good last year, and he could be the way that I get Spurs cover. So my actual draft the other day, if I zoom out a little bit and make a few transfers for you, had no Diaz. It had an 8 million midfielder, which at the moment was Foden, but it could easily be Kulusevski. And then it leaves me 0 million in the bank, but I didn't have Martinelli. I had another, I don't know who's like, I can't remember who it was at 4.5, the guy from Brentford. I will put Gilmore in there for now, and it allowed me to do Walker. It looked like this. So I had Robbo, double defence. And then we had like a 4.5, I think it was Raya on Meslier in goal, which I don't dislike, but it just is pretty close. Like, this probably strengthens my starting squad a bit, but then it weakens my bench. It did allow me to get Kulusevski in there. I'm just not sure how nailed he is. Like, let me know in the comments. Do you think Kulusevski is nailed, or do you think it will be Richarlison? Like, I think Kulusevski will start the majority of games, but I don't necessarily think like he'll play like 60 minutes all the time, and Lucas or and Richarlison will come on, which is not exactly what I want. Let's just fiddle around with this a little bit. Where's my save button? There we go. Cheers, Nuclear. Yeah, I do like him a lot. I don't quite know. Like, there's no reason to drop him. He ended the last season so well, but they've spent quite a lot of money on Richarlison, so I feel like he's going to have to get game time. They're not just going to completely let him fall by the wayside. So I'm a little bit torn about that. That's like, if I knew Kulusevski, if Richarlison hasn't signed, Kulusevski would be in my team, and I wouldn't even think twice. So yeah, that's what I've got to decide. But is Haaland nailed? Is Haaland nailed? No. So he's actually, Pep said today that he needs a couple of weeks before he really finds his rhythm, which is not exactly what we want to hear. But I feel like he says that about everyone. But again, he does like to take a little bit of time to get those forwards up and running. And like, it's not impossible that like Bournemouth at home game week 2 or like West Ham away, a bit more of a difficult game, he doesn't use Haaland and he uses the team that he's maybe a bit more assured with. And then, so I am not 100% on having Haaland in my team for game week 1. Now that's my other draft. Let me just go and get up my other draft on another tab. It does this all the time. I love it. Martinelli over Harrison. Yeah, for sure. Martinelli over Harrison. Yeah. Haaland scored today. And Rafinha scored for Barca. Yeah, he did. It was a great goal. Rafinha's first goal for Barca. Pep plays in his first season with less men than the rest. Yeah, it's true. It is true. But it's just that Bournemouth at home fixture. It's those early fixtures which are really nice. And it's that Chelsea fixture. If the fixtures were the other way around, I'd have Kane. But it is just that game week 2 fixture that we don't like. Thank you for all the new subscribers as well. Welcome. We have gained about 30 of you guys during this stream. So welcome. It is a subscriber only chat. So if you aren't subscribed, just hit subscribe and then straight away you can start using the chat as well. And we're back every day now between now and the start of the season with a video. So why not? We're trying to get to 25,000 as well. So help me out. And if you're already subscribed, the best way to help me out is just to hit the like button as well. It helps it get shared to people's recommendations. Am I worried about Chelsea's slow start to pre-season? Yeah, I am a little bit. But the fixtures are good. I haven't gone, which is partly why I've not gone Mendy in goal and I've gone Ramsdale's, because Chelsea have started quite slowly, that I don't want to go heavy in on them. So I've gone with James and I'm happy with that. And I don't necessarily need anything more than that in my squad for now. Like, James is enough. You can have a good bench with a back 5 though. Bailey at 5 mil. It's true. I could, try and find money to upgrade one of those mids to Bailey. The comments from Gerald have been pretty good on him. Like, he's showing me that he wants to be in the 11, but he's always going to get an early sub, which is just a bit annoying. Am I confident in Dalot? I have no reason to think Dalot's not going to be in the Man U starting 11. So, yeah. I have no reason to think, what time is it? 33 past. I've no reason, I can't see Wan-Bissaka playing. If they sign a right back, which there was linked with, but he's gone somewhere else now. If they sign someone else, then yeah, I'll have a think and I'll have to redo it. But at the moment, with Tomiyasu not likely to be fit for the start of the season, he's my favourite 4.5 defender. So yeah, I'm happy with him at the moment. Cool, let's do a few of these squads. How many have we got? Quite a lot. Right, you guys get in here. How are we doing, Rockstar? Nice to see you in. Right, Nuclear, one of the moderators of the chat. This is your team. Can't see the bench because my camera's in the way. You've got Bailey, Pereira and Greenwood. Trent, James. Trent, can I zoom out? Does that... That works a little bit better for me. Cool. So we got Trent, we got James, Cancelo, Robertson, Trippier. Very template. Again, it's pretty template. You've got no Kane in there, but it's allowed you to go and get Bailey in your midfield, strengthen the bench a little bit. Rashford in there. The issue for me here is there's no 8 million midfielder. And if one of them does well at the beginning of the season, it's going to be very difficult looking at your squad structure to go and find that money to go like Rashford up to an 8 mil. So I like the term like playing the price points at the beginning of the season. And basically what it means is being able to get to players if they do really well, and not having that player in your midfield at 8 million is a bit of a worry for me. If like Foden or Diaz start really well, or Mount, for example, you'll find it very, very hard to get them. Like, I don't even know, looking at this team, how you'd get to that. Like, Jesus or like Robbo would have to go. So, like, I'd probably look at freeing up a little bit of money. Now, I am basically turning this into the template team, but Trippier to a 4.5, like Bailey downgrade frees you up $1 million, and this team might even have $1 million in the bank as well. Yeah, no 8 million mid. Apart from that, I do like it. Let's pick another one at random. Steve, let's go in with this one. So Bailey starting every week again is a big red flag for me. Bailey, yeah, is a big red flag. Meslier in goal is fine. I'm not sure about Leeds. I like Meslier. They have great fixtures, but I don't know necessarily what we're going to get for them. So that's what he was in one of my drafts as well. So I'm not going to say no to him, but I just bear in mind that you're going to need a lot of save points. Ben White, again, I'm not 100% what we're going to get from him. Like Saliba might want a few minutes. Probably going to be Ben White again this season, but worth just keeping an eye on the last few preseason games. You could go Dalot in there as well. Again, Neco Williams on the bench is fine. I don't expect loads from Forest defensively, but they could be good. Sancho, again, 6.5. I like. Like, for me, Sancho at 7.5. Sancho and Bailey to like Neto and Martinelli. I know it's template, and I know you're probably going to think it's boring, but for me, that's a much better move to do than what we've got here. And then Darwin and Havertz up front. You got no premium forward. Again, if one of them does well, it might be difficult for you. I'm not sure what we're going to get with Darwin. Like, I'd rather go Darwin down and go Diaz. $1 million cheaper for Diaz over Darwin. Just seems a no-brainer for me. Like, or Robbo. Darwin's not in my thinking as a Liverpool pick, but I know why you'd get him. Havertz, again, I like. I just don't know if I like him as much. Like, you could go Foden, you could go Mount, you could go Diaz in there as well for a similar price. But I like this team. There's a few differentials in there as well. I wouldn't put you off going with it. It's not necessarily... I'm quite boring, so... Yeah, I quite like it. A few picks in there. I'm not a big Darwin fan to start the season with. Yeah, guys, keep liking the stream as well. If you are new, again, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's go and do another one here. Let's pick one that's nice and HD quality. Again, that looks like the template. One premium this team has got. The only thing, yeah, you got Bailey on the bench. This is fine, apart from like you got two 4.5 forwards, which is the only issue where when you start playing one up front, and all those 4.5 forwards are never going to play. So you basically got one player on the bench when you build a squad like this, which is not great. Bailey's fine, like he'll play every week and he can sub in, but if, for example, Jesus randomly missed out, you'd be left with a squad with no striker. So double Chelsea defence as well is okay. I'm not sure about them given the preseason form is the only thing, and only one premium. Cool. Any questions in the chat? Chat has frozen. Is the stream fine? Is the stream fine? If you guys could let me know. The stream is... There's a chat... Like, I'm not getting any new chatting. Maybe you just all suddenly went silent and were enjoying listening to me talk. But it seems to be working. Stream's fine. Fine. No worries. Stream is fine. Cool. Let's go Lingard in this one. Again, 6 million for Lingard is a no-go for me. Like, I understand he was great at West Ham and he could be a good pick, but yeah, he's definitely a no for me to start the season with, unfortunately. I was just listening to drafts. Yeah, Lingard is not the one for me. This is a bit different. We've got a few different picks in here. We'll go back to answering your questions in a minute. Odegaard at 6.5 is fine. I owned him for a lot of last season, and it was pretty painful. Like, he's always like assisting the assister. Like, he doesn't often get in the box when you'd want him to. Like, they're attacking and he gets to sort of the edge of the D and he just stops. And it is annoying. He's very clinical when he gets those chances, but he doesn't do it enough, and it's frustrating. Martinelli, I'd rather. He might get a few less minutes, but he's a bit more explosive than Odegaard, so I think I'd rather Martinelli in there. Cash in there is great. Opening 3 is great, and then you'd probably want to sell him is the only thing. Booking and transfers. For me, Sanchez is fine. Probably Brighton is interesting. If we get up like Brighton, let me get Sanchez. I need to try not to click. I've set my mouse that I can tap, so you guys don't hear me clicking. But it is a natural thing for me to click. Like, the opening fixtures are not great. Like, United away, West Ham away, and Newcastle is probably not what you want from a cheap goalkeeper. Then it gets nice from game week 4. Like, they could easily keep clean sheets there, but it's probably not the 4.5. I'd rather Raya, to be honest, but that's personal preference. Cash, again, the first 3 are great. After that, it gets more difficult, but he's looked good in pre-season. Not too much to talk about, apart from Odegaard in that one. Again, we're looking at... Got to talk about this. I can't let this go. Got Nat Phillips on the bench to start off with. I like it because it's symmetrical, but you got no Liverpool attacker in your team. It's just going to cause you an absolute headache. Kane and Son, like, great. One of them is enough. Like, Son to Salah, you probably don't have enough money looking at your bench. Like, this team has tried to be symmetrical, I think. Like, Son to Salah, maybe Sancho down to, like, Neto, and then have a play around with that. You've tried to get players from basically the top teams, and it's not the best for me. Not the best one for me. Thoughts on Kulusevski again, like Spurs. If I get my team up, Spurs is the thing that's causing me the biggest headache. I can't decide what to do with them. Like, do I want them? I want to cover them, but I can't afford Kane or Son because I've got Haaland and Salah, and I don't want 3 premiums. It doesn't. The rest of my squad doesn't look good enough. Kulusevski could be the one that allows me to do it, but is he going to play like a lot? Probably. I basically haven't made up my mind, and one of the big things I need to do between now and the start of the season is make up my mind on one of those Spurs assets and what I want to do with them. I've gone off Perisic so much. Let me turn off subscriber only mode. Yeah, one of the things I've got to do is decide what I want to do with Spurs, and Perisic is not the one for me. So, yeah. It's Kulusevski or nothing for me, I think. And maybe I go with it to cover it. I hate the thought of like just owning a player to cover a team, but it might allow me to do it. It might be the way that I go, especially if I'm not sure of Martinelli. If I'm not sure of Martinelli, then I can easily go Diaz in defence to Robbo and get Kulusevski in my midfield. It might be what I do, especially because Richarlison is suspended game week 1 as well. We are very close to 400 viewers as well. So if you haven't, subscribe, all of that good stuff. What are the benefits for becoming member? Thank you for asking, Rory. So we have a tier 1 membership, which basically gets you your comment highlighted in the chat. And every time you comment, it's basically like super chat, because I'll always answer the comments from the members. And that is $1.99. And you also get like highlighted in the comments of the videos, but it's mainly like the perks of the streams, where I'll always see your comments if you're a member, and I'll always reply to them. And then tier 2 gets you access. You get put in a group chat on Twitter, which has me, all the other tier 2 members, and all the mods in as well. And like, it means that you can ask me questions like while we're not just streaming. So if you I'm always in that chat, like happy to answer questions basically any time that's not nighttime and that's I'm not streaming. So those are there. There's a link in the description if you do want to join as a member as well. It's really good, and we've got some great success stories from that tier 2 chat last year as well. I think Darwin will return against Fulham. Like, if Jota's out, then I can see why people will go with Darwin. It is a transfer out waiting to happen, I think, because I still don't think he's number 1. I still think it will be like Jota when he's back fit. Like I still think their front three of Diaz, Jota, Salah is the front three at the moment. But mate, you really like Gallagher. Do I think it'll be viable watching at any point in the season? Any thoughts on Tony? I cannot see Gallagher being an option at any point for Chelsea. I cannot see him starting more than 5 games this season. So yeah, basically it's a no-go for me, to be honest. Tony, again, without Eriksen, I'm a little bit worried about what will happen to them. If you look at like how they performed with Eriksen versus without, they are much worse off when they didn't have Eriksen, and it doesn't look like they're signing anyone who's even going to come and like be close to the level of Eriksen's creativity. So yeah, basically it's a wait and see for me on that one. Kulu covers Kane and Son. I wish he did. Like at points last season when I had Kulu, I was like, well, I'm going to own him. He might tick along. He's not getting anywhere near the levels of the other two, apart from game week 38 where he did really well, but still didn't like set the world light in the previous game week. So yeah. But yeah, if anyone wants to join or has questions about the membership, just fire them my way on Twitter as well. My DMs are open to you guys as well. And if you say you've come from my stream in my DMs, I'm much more likely to reply. I'm much more happy to reply to people I know support me on YouTube. Darwin is first choice over Jota. I'm not necessarily sure it's as clear cut as that. I am not sure it's as clear cut as that. How am I going to rate your threemium? We can do a few more teams in a minute. We are going to do a few more. Thank you, 400 of you in here. Appreciate it. Happy Sunday, everyone. Again, like the issue is with rating teams, like I've done some, but they all start to look pretty similar. Like this one's got Barnes in. I quite like Barnes. It's got Zinchenko in that Arsenal kit. I haven't actually seen a screenshot with Zinchenko in his Arsenal kit yet. Zinchenko, Arsenal, I think he's going to start the season at left back, so I'm not sure if Tierney is going to be fit, which is not that great. This is fine to cover Arsenal, but like we want him in midfield is why we want to own Zinchenko. Barnes at 7 million. Leicester have had an okay pre-season. Their starting fixtures are okay. If I get Barnes up, we'll look at their fixtures. Yeah, if we get Barnes up, fixtures are pretty good. Well, they're okay. Like if you look at them in isolation in the first 3, Brentford and Southampton are good, and then they play Arsenal, Chelsea, United. So I can understand why people don't want them. He's good short term, like for the first 3, but after that, like longer term, you probably don't want to have him. That's why people are looking elsewhere, I think. That's why Leicester, I think there is runs of fixtures that they have that will really want them. So if we look like, yeah, from like 6 onwards, or like this 9 to 13 is great. Where does the break fall? Yeah, so like you might want to own them from 9 until, like when we wildcard in game week 8, game week 9, like Leicester assets will be very hot because they've got a great run until we get the unlimited transfers over the World Cup. So I'd probably wait and see on them, on Leicester, to be honest. Diaz looks a bit off. One to consider. This is it. I was talking to someone yesterday about this, about how actually, does this mean yeah. He's looked really good, but his end product is not nearly there. And Klopp will know this, and Liverpool fans will know this, that he needs to step up his finishing in front of goal. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on Diaz. I'll keep an eye on how he does in the rest of pre-season. Do I think Grealish will get a lot of playing time? I think he'll get more than he got last season. How much? Again, I'm still unsure about who Man City are playing out wide this season. Like Foden, Mahrez, Grealish, there are 3 of them there. And are they going to play like consistently those 3? Is Bernardo Silva going to have to go out wide? Is Alvarez going to get time outside? Probably not. It's probably those 3, but yeah. It's probably those 3, but I don't, again, know who's first choice. Like, Foden can play both sides. Grealish is pretty much only left, and Mahrez is pretty much only right. So, and I haven't decided on that. Mount or Saka for your 8 million mid. I'd probably go Saka, to be honest. People question why I don't like Mount as an FPL asset. He's not top of my list from an FPL point of view. He's stepped up his goal contributions a little bit last year. He's still not as explosive enough for me. So I'd probably go Saka. But how am I putting a forum together on Twitter? Can you rate it, please? You put your team. Yeah, we'll do a few more in a minute. But yeah. Give me a second. Let me just retweet the stream as well. Are there prizes for my leagues? Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. There'll be a football shirt at the end of... there'll be a football shirt to the winner at the end of the season. It is a subscriber-only league, so you've got to be subscribed. But yeah, there's a football shirt for whoever wins my league at the end of the season. For your new club, your new Liverpool shirt, your new Chelsea shirt, etc., whatever you want. Why'd I have Walker on the bench? So... he won't stay on my bench, just game week 1. He's on my bench because he's got West Ham away. I've already got Man City defensive cover, and I don't have anyone else in my starting team that I really want to bench. He's not that attacking, like it's a clean sheet, and I'm happy to own him if he's going to start, like if they don't sign Cucurella for like this run. This run is really nice for them. So I can bench him game week 1 and then bring him in for the rest of it. Like... you might want to start him over Dallo with Martinelli, but for me, I'm quite happy with this for game week 1, and then he'll come off my bench and start for the rest of the season or the rest of the game weeks, and I can bench like Dallo, I'll bench Martinelli for etc. Like game week 2, like I might bench Martinelli, etc. We'll see. I can go any 5 million instead of Walker. Yeah, or if like they sign Cucurella, Walker can go to Trippier, he could go to Martinelli. Where's my league code? My league code is up here above me, and it's in the description. There's an auto join link in the description as well. You hope Undav will explode. So again, he is brought in to be the number 1 forward at Brighton. We don't necessarily know if it's going to happen straight away though, which is the only thing with him. It's just the only thing with him. Is he going to come in and be number 1 straight away? We don't quite know. I think we should like move this a little bit this way. I don't know what that's done to it on stream, but what's it like having the green screen on stream? Does it make it better? Do you like it? I'm going to keep it because it's what I do my videos with now, but it is just on the back of my chair. It's all right, Ryan. It is pretty big up at the top, but don't worry about it. Pep will start Wilden Esbrand, I'm telling you. That's why he's happy to let Zinchenko go. All right, but that still means Walker is first choice then. Let's see what happens with Cucurella over the next week and a half. You reckon Bailey for Villa will be a dark horse at the start of the season? Yeah, there's a lot of talk about him. There's a lot of talk about Bailey. He could be a really nice option. When they've got Ramsey, Coutinho, like Buendia, Watkins, Ings all wanting forward spots, it is a little bit difficult to think that he's going to get constant minutes. Like that Villa front line is a nightmare. You've watched all of Brighton's pre-season. You say Undav is third choice currently. Yeah, he's been coming off the bench. Like he's been scoring, and people are saying, "Oh, Undav's scored. He's going to be good." But he has been coming off the bench to get those goals. So, what I think of Ederson, he's fine. Like he's a third Man City option for me. Like if you're going Cancelo, Haaland, and you're happy to go Ederson in goal, great. He's not ever going to score you more than like 6 or 7 points with a save point, which is probably not worth it. Like come the end of the season, he may be the second highest scoring or the first highest scoring goalkeeper in terms of clean sheets and maybe points, but it's not really worth $1 million investment for me. Really worth $1 million investment for me. So, like, if you've got it spare and you built a team that you're really happy with, great. But I wouldn't put like Ederson in as my first player and then build the rest of my team. Like, if I get to my goalkeeper and I've got 5.5, then Ederson will go in. But what's my biggest tip for FPL? It's a 38 game week season. You don't have to win every single week, and you can have bad game weeks and you can have picks that don't go well. You don't have to do well every single week. Don't let a bad week get you down, because you need to do well in 25 of 38 game weeks to have a good season. So you can still have 13 bad game weeks a year to have a really good season. So yeah, basically don't just get swept up on like 1 or 2 bad game weeks and try and really chase 1 week. You need to look at the bigger picture always, and it's a 38 game week season. I don't always start that well, but I come the end of the season because I've played the long game. So, how confident are Diaz will be a regular start for Liverpool? Pretty confident. He showed last year what he's capable of, as long as he gets his finishing up to where we know Klopp will want it to be. He's not good enough in front of goal yet. Definitely not good enough in front of goal. for Liverpool to really push on. Now, Mahrez had points in his career at Liverpool where he wasn't good enough in front of goal. And I think he'll want Diaz to push on in terms of his goal scoring ability. League, there's the big league code above me. That's all you need to do. There's also links in the description where you can sign up to be a member, to join the league, and to join Fantasy Football Scout as well. Get your little discount if you fancy joining there. Some great stats and articles in there as well. Darwin finishing isn't poor. No, I said Luis Diaz, sorry. Darwin, again, I don't think he's worth the money, but Diaz is not a bad pick. I'd rather Diaz at 8 million than Nunez at 9 million. Like, for me, that's a no-brainer. Watkins for the first 3 game weeks, again, probably not. Like 7.5 million on Watkins. If you've already got Jesus and Haaland, then I'd go in midfield. I think 2 forwards is fine. I probably wouldn't want to start with Watkins. He feels too expensive for me. Like, if the pricing had been as we'd expected, then Watkins at 7.5 would have been okay. But everyone is cheaper than we'd have thought they would have been last year. So, if I had funds, would I swap Martinelli for Rashford? The issue is the fixtures for Man U are okay, but the fixtures for Arsenal are great, which is why I've got 3 of them. Like, the fixtures here are really good for the first 8, and then I can look to sell them. Like, I'll sell when I wildcard here. Like, I'll sell all my Arsenal guys for Tottenham, Liverpool, like City in the space of 4 weeks. So I might keep one of them, but I like Martinelli as a good cheap option to start the season with. 430 of you watching. Thank you all very much. You guys are the best. Hope you're having a good Sunday. Hope you've had a good weekend. We are just 40 subscribers away from 20.9, which was the aim for the stream. There must be 40 of you in here who are not subscribed. Again, it's a subscriber-only league, so if you are joining the league, you need to have subscribed. And make sure you've liked as well. But Zinchenko, starting 11, I just need to see in pre-season where he's going to play. If he's going to be at left-back, it's not that great. And I'm not buying Tierney when he was first fit, so I'm not going to buy Zinchenko. So I'm not buying Gabriel, so I'm not going to buy Zinchenko at 5 million for an Arsenal defender. I might want to go and buy him if he's playing midfield though, but to start the season with Tierney looking like he's injured, I don't necessarily want that. But do I think I could take a risk on triple captain Son against Southampton? So this is what I'm talking about when I say FPL is a big 38 game week game. There will be double game weeks towards the end of the season where your triple captain will be much better than ever playing it at the beginning of the season. And I put it in one of my top tips videos and maybe in my biggest mistakes videos that people will come to you being like, haha, I'm beating you in my mini league after 3 weeks because they've played their triple captain and their bench boost in the first 2 weeks. And that's completely irrelevant because they'll get to the second half of the season, get to the double game weeks, have no chips to play, and I'll triple captain Salah against Leeds and against Norwich like last year, and he'll get me like 80 points, and they'll be looking at my team like, oh, this is why you didn't play your chips early. So as appealing as it might be to play it early on in the season, please wait to play your chips towards the end of the season when there will be double game weeks. The only chip that you should play in your first half of the season is your wild card. That's because you get 2 of them. Best 5 million defender apart from Trippier. Walker at the moment. If not, then I'm looking at Cash or Dean potentially at Aston Villa, but Walker at the moment could be nice. If not, the Arsenal guys are okay. Like, Gabriel does have that goal threat to make him more investable. If not, investable? If not, I would go with one of the cheap 4.5 defenders instead. Tier list of 8 million midfielders. Diaz at the top. Probably Saka second. Kulusevski third. Mount fourth. No, Foden fourth. Mount fifth. Probably, but that chops and changes so much. Tony features again, like we spoke about Ivan Toney just before, and it's okay. Like it's great after the first 2, but my issue with them is we don't know what they're going to get from Brentford when they don't have Eriksen in their team. Like, they could be great from game week 3, and you might think, yeah, I really want him in because they got Fulham, Everton, Palace, Leeds, Southampton, like Bournemouth in that run. It's really nice. But without Eriksen, I'm just not sure they're going to see the same levels that they saw at the end of last year. Thoughts on Sarr as a goalie. So he was actually in my big differentials video from last week. Could be really nice. Could be really nice. Looking at their fixtures, their first 6 are really nice, so I wouldn't be put off with them. But maybe looking at those Brentford fixtures, I might want to go Raya, because those fixtures from game week like 3 onwards are really good. Really good. And yeah. Do I have money for this? Yeah, let me just save this as it is. A few changes in there. Walker goes out. Let me just refresh this. Cool. Yeah, like something like this, like Gilmore's obviously not going to be the 4.5 I go with. Something like this, right? You get Raya in goal. A few more of you guys have sent in your teams again. This one's got Grealish in. Grealish and Walker, you've really tried to skin out to try and get Kane, Salah, Haaland in. I like what you've tried to do with this one. It doesn't like tell me who it's from. Apologies. I just, again, like I've spoken about this a lot, and I'll speak about it again now. I love the 3 premium drafts, being able to get the 3 premiums in, apart from what it does to the rest of your team. Like, where was it? Yeah, like you've got no £8 million midfielder. You've got Walker over Cancelo. Yeah. For me, it's not a bad version of it. It's one of the best 3 premium drafts I think I've seen, because you've got Grealish in there, hoping that he does well enough. But it's okay. But I don't think like what you get. Forest players, yeah. I like some of them as cheap options. I think Henderson in goal could be really good. Lingard at 6 million is too expensive. Neco Williams, the big one. I think people have spoken about him as the 4.0 goalkeeper option. The 4.0 defender of the season. He got an assist in their most recent preseason game. He could be a really nice one. He definitely is one to keep an eye on. Their opening fixtures are not great, is the only thing. Like they've definitely got a place in our squads during the season, but I'm not sure the start of the season is necessarily it, given their fixtures. Again, you can send me your team over on Twitter. If you are a YouTube member, you have a much bigger chance of getting them. There's a link in the description to join as a member. Or if you say you're on YouTube, again, I do my best to reply to them as much as possible. I'm going to go and watch the whole stream back to see how it looks with the green screen, with the new like audio and stuff. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know. Let me do a little poll. This is the issue when I've got my camera. Let me move it like that for a second. Create poll. Do you own Robbo or Diaz? Robbo, Diaz, both, none. Let's get voting in that poll. Alan, rate your team please. Sure, we've got Alisson, Trent, James, Walker, Trippier. Again, we'll come back to Alisson in a moment. Then we've got Salah, Foden, Mahrez. I go Foden over him. So where's your 3 Liverpool? You've got goalkeeper, Neto, Haaland, Jesus, Watkins. Watkins for me is not it. You're playing 3 up front, you're playing a 4-3-3. One of the first teams I've seen with a back 4. For me, I don't like that Watkins pick. Like, I'd go Watkins to like Cancelo in defence, play a back 5, for example. Like, straight away, I prefer that. Alisson in goal, for me, is not worth it. Edison is worth it because the other Man City guys are not as great. Like, apart from Cancelo, Haaland, the others are not essential, whereas Alisson takes up a very vital Liverpool spot, and I don't want to do that. So I'd potentially go, like, who do you have? Like, if you did Alisson to Edison and then go Watkins to Robbo in defence, for example, or Watkins to, like, Diaz in midfield, for me, that makes so much more sense for the way my team would look. But that's just my thought. That's just my opinion. Cool. My thoughts on Jarrod Bowen this year. So West Ham are a really interesting one. West Ham are a really interesting one. Bowen at 8.5 for me is slightly too much than I would really want to spend, which makes me look at Benrahma and Fornals at 6 million and 5.5. Again, they're really nice. They are really nice options because they have the explosiveness, not quite the same that Bowen has, fine, but at a cut price, and it's a little bit less risk than maybe you'd get from the other ones. So cheap midfielders like 4 nows at 5.5 could be a really, really nice option. 40% of you are owning Robbo, 30% are owning Diaz, 20% of you are owning none of them. Does this mean 20% of you don't have triple Liverpool in your team, which is interesting? Maybe you've gone Alisson, maybe you've gone Van Dijk, but I would not want to own a triple Liverpool that isn't Trent, Robbo, Salah, Diaz. Like 3 of those 4. 3 of those 4 would definitely be in there. 3 of those 4 are definitely in there. Cool. How are we doing on the... What time is it? 7:05. Cool. We are just 20 subscribers away from our target for the end of the stream. There must be 20 of you guys in here that aren't subscribed. Again, for anyone who's new here, we do a stream every week. We do a deadline stream. We do 3 videos a week. And between now and the start of the season, there is a video every single day for you. But if that's not reason to subscribe, then I don't know what is. But I appreciate all the support and all of you guys watching on a Sunday evening. You got Robert. Okay, a few of you going with Darwin. A few of you going with Van Dijk. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. The chat voted Robbo. Yeah. I think that's what they voted they've got, not necessarily what's the most popular. I think Diaz is slightly more owned than Robbo is, actually. If we go... Oh, I've already saved it. Fine. Cool. Again, make sure you join the league code above. Free to enter. There are prizes as well to win at the end of the season if you do win the league. Again... Thoughts on Botman as a Newcastle fan? Yeah, he could be good. He's 4.5 as well, I think. It could be a really nice cheap option. Again, another one to add to those 4.5 defenders. The Newcastle fixtures are okay. 2 of the first 4 are a bit difficult. 3 of the first 5 are good. So, yeah, interesting that the chat voted Robbo, but generally Diaz is more highly owned. He is good at bench, not as a starter. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, we can rate a few more. We'll do a few more. Again, the issue is they all start to look a bit the same. This one's got Mount in. Mount and Mahrez together, I feel like I don't like. And it's only got double Liverpool. Like, one of them to Diaz just makes so much sense. Like, I feel like if you've got triple Liverpool and you're still looking for that midfielder, then Mount or Mahrez is okay. But if you're owning them over triple Liverpool, given the Liverpool fixtures, right? Just doesn't make... To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, yeah. Given their first, 7 fixtures... I say like a lot. Given their first 7 fixtures are very good, it makes sense to me. Aaron, thank you very much for the super chat. You're not set on anyone yet, but what I think of below. Raya, Dallo, James, Tar, Trent. So, only a back 3... Bernardo, Grealish, Bailey, Kane and Jesus. Tomiyasu, Williams, cool. So what I would say about that is Bernardo and Grealish are the 2 that I don't like. You've got no Cancelo in there. Bernardo Silva to a 4.5 midfielder and then go and get Cancelo in your defence and straight away I much, much prefer it. But apart from that, I think it looks pretty good. You've tried to go, you've got Trent, you've got Salah, Kane in there. I'd want to try and strengthen that a little bit more, like Bailey to Neto, for example. I don't mind it. Again, that Bernardo Silva, I'm not loving him as an option. Down to a 4.5 and going and getting in Cancelo is great. Again, I have mentioned it and I won't bang on about it anymore. But for you guys who are giving super chats, thank you so much. But for less than your super chats, you can join as a channel member. And basically, this gives you unlimited super chats for a whole month. So I appreciate the super chat so much. And you can ask a specific question. But if you join as a member, you get all your questions answered. So it is it's a no-brainer. It's a better deal. But thank you for the super chats anyway. Opinions on Johnny. So with Wolves, they've gone to a back 4 during pre-season, which is not as good as defensively as they were with the back 5. And it means the fullbacks are getting forward less, and it means they are less good defensively. So it's not great for Johnny and 8 Nori, if I'm honest. Is leaving 0.5 in the bank a must? And that's actually a really good point. I can feel like I need to run it. Anyway, it's not a must. It helps with your squad structure, and the reason it does that is game week 1 to 2, there'll be loads of transfers and loads of people will make early transfers. And if you don't have 0.5 in the bank and you want to move like Kulusevski to Mahrez, for example, if you don't leave 0.5 in the bank, either you've got to go really early and get it before any price changes happen, before Kulusevski drops or Morris rises, or you miss out on the transfer if you wait till later in the week. But if you leave 0.5 million in the bank, it means you can move sideways straight away without having to like move really early on those transfers. And if you don't save that money and that price change happens, you basically have to make a transfer, which is a downgrade. You basically have to go down from Kulusevski to a 7.5, and there aren't any, so you'd have to be going down to 7, for example. So leaving 0.5 in the bank is really helpful. It's not essential. It just helps with your sort of squad structure at the beginning of the season. Just helps that squad structure a little bit to start the season with. But we have hit the subscriber target for the start of the end of the stream. Thank you all. We're going to keep going for a few minutes more. You have Moutinho at Wolves. I'd rather Bailey, same price, 5 million would probably be where I would go. Not a massive Moutinho fan from an FPL point of view. Thoughts on Vardy? So Leicester again, it's a lot of money to spend on a player who has a difficult opening set of fixtures. So yeah, if you guys want to keep sending your teams, go for it. I'll do my best to rate them more in DMs as well. Yeah, the issue with Leicester is like I'd rather go Barnes or Maddison, who are going to play as much. They are much cheaper. It's a little bit of a less of a risk than maybe you've got there. So yeah. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen with them with Leicester. I want to see how they start the season first. Son over Kane with Jesus as a lone striker. Son over Kane if you can afford it for me. It's pretty close though. It's pretty close. I'm going to probably have to wrap up the stream here. Thank you all very much for watching. Massively appreciate it. Again, if you haven't already, please make sure you like the stream. Subscribe as well. There's videos coming from tomorrow morning, the first one, every single day. There are live streams as well coming. That makes it all go out of focus. Ooh, look at that. I don't know what that does when it's actually on like the camera. Maybe it doesn't blur it out. It blurs out. Anyway, we're getting off topic. If you guys want to look in the... Oh, that clicking's not going to be useful for you, Al. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Sorry, just trying to do this. Make sure you have liked the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will be doing more rating your videos as well, and I'll be doing more streams with it. So plenty more to come. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Have a good rest of your evening as well. Thanks, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow morning for the video, hopefully. Get those notifications on as well. Thanks, guys.